Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Parakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajataham Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sapadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha Umagyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chakalpaturvyascha Kripa Sindhuvevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Nama Namo Mahabhadanjaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Dhammi Gaura Vishe Nama Vrindaya Tulasi Devya Priyaya Kesavasyacha Krishna Bhakti Pradevi Satyavatya Namo Nama Sakala Vaishnava Pare Mora Namaskar Ite Kichwa Paradana Hukamara Oya Chinven Prabhur Jakta Vakta Jan Bandana Kuriyami Savaracharana Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasar Shri Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Vandana Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupat, Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupat, Srila Bhakti Raka Srila Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Vishnupat Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gora Chandra Giriraj Ki Jai. Dandavats. Today we will continue reading Sri Guru and His Grace. And today we will read the Descent of the Revealed Truth. Jai Srila Guru Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Sri Guru and His Grace Ki Jai. Descent of the Revealed Truth. Krishna consciousness, the spiritual conception of the highest level, descends by flowing down from one level to the next. Just as from the peak of a mountain the Ganges flows in a zigzag way from one peak to another. Sometimes the water of the Ganges mixes with the current of the river Saraswati. That water is not to be considered Ganges water. When the water of the Saraswati joins the current of the Ganges, it is considered to be Ganges water. When the two rivers meet, the water that flows over from the Ganges is not the Ganges. But when the Saraswati's waters enters into the current of the Ganges, it becomes the Ganges. There is a saying that whatever water is deep within the current of the Ganges river bed is the real Ganges water. That water will purify us, whatever its point of origin may have been. The purifying potency of the water has nothing to do with the water we can feel and see. We can see with our physical eyes. What can we see with our physical eyes? The current of the Ganges is pure. When the spirit and sanction is there, it is a living thing and can purify everyone. Dead mantras. So, the very gist of the Guru Parampara, the disciplic succession, is Shiksha, the spiritual teaching, and wherever it is to be traced, there is Guru. One who has the transcendental eye, the divine eye, will recognize the Guru wherever he appears. One who possesses knowledge of absolute divine love and purity, he is Guru. Otherwise, the Guru Parampara is only a body Parampara, a subsection of bodies. Then the caste Brahmanas, the caste Goswamis, will continue with their trade, because body after body they're getting the mantra, but their mantra is dead. We're after a living mantra, and wherever we can trace a living tendency for a higher type of devotional service, we shall find that there is our Guru. One who has that sort of vision awakened will be able to recognize the Guru wherever he may appear. Initiation into the mantra means to impart real knowledge and devotional sentiment from one to another, and that must be genuine. Nothing can be known about a homeopathic globule by another physical inspection, but the potency is within. So also within the mantra, the important thing is a type of thought or sentiment which is imported through that sound. The impersonalists have got the same mantra and are also chanting the holy name of Krishna. But that sort of name will vanish in the Brahmajyoti. They won't be able to cross the Viraja, the river between the material and spiritual worlds. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that when a Mayavadi chants the name of Krishna, his chanting of the name of Krishna is just like a thunder to the holy body of Krishna. It does not produce any soothing effect. The Gaudiya Math deals with reality, not with the frame. We're trying to understand what is what in the spiritual thought world. We're not enchanted or captured by the mere form. We are interested in the step-by-step development in the spiritual thought. In his Upadesamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami has said, Karmibhya parito hare priyataya vyaktim yayugyaninas tebhyo jnana vimukta bhakti parama premaika nishtash tataha. Out of many materialists, one may be a philosopher. Out of many philosophers, one may become liberated and take to devotional service. Out of many devotees, one may attain pure love of Krishna. He is the best of all. We're interested in understanding this gradation. I will read this again because it sounds very interesting. Out of many materialists, one may be a philosopher. Out of many philosophers, one may become liberated and take to devotional service. Out of many devotees, one may attain pure love of Krishna. He is the best of all. We're interested in understanding this gradation. What is the Viraja river? What is the spiritual sky? The planet of Lord Shiva, the Vaikuntha world of Vishnu, Lord Rama's Ayodhya, and then Krishna in Dwarka, Mathura, and Vrindavan. We want to know the realistic view of the whole gradation of devotional thought. Krishna shows this gradation in the Srimad Bhagavatam, where he says, Na tatame priyatama admayonirna shankaraha na cha sankashano na shir naivatma chayatavavhan. Neither Brahma, nor Shiva, nor Sankarsana of Vaikuntha, nor the goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi, nor even my own self is as dear to me as you. You are my favorite, Uddhava. We have to follow the spirit. Otherwise, after Janava Devi, the wife of Lord Nityananda, up to Vipina Goswami, from whom Bhaktivinoda Thakur took initiation, there are so many unknown lady gurus. Through them, the mantra came to Vipina Goswami, and from him, Bhaktivinoda Thakur received the mantra. we accept Bhaktivinoda Thakur, but should we count all those ladies in our disciplic succession? What was the realization? I wonder what lady Srila Guru Maharaj is referring to. Slaves of the truth. We are slaves of the truth. We are beggars for the pure current of truth that is constantly flowing, the fresh current. We're not charmed by any formality. I will bow down my head wherever I find the river of nectar coming down to me. When one is conscious that the absolute truth is descending to him from the highest domain, he will think, I must surrender myself here. Mahaprabhu says to Ramanandarai, Kivabi prakivamyasi shudra keninaya ye Krishna tattvavetta se guruha. Wherever the truth appears, wherever the nectar of divine ecstasy descends, I shall offer myself as a slave. That is my direct concern. Whatever form it takes doesn't matter much. The form has some value, but if there's any conflict, the inner spirit of a thing should be given immense value over its external cover. Otherwise, if the spirit has gone away and the bodily connection gets the upper hand, our so-called spiritual life becomes a haija, a cheap imitation. When we're conscious of the real substance of Krishna consciousness, the real wealth we're receiving from our spiritual master, then our spiritual life cannot be sahaishism, imitationism. We must be aware enough to detect our Guru's advice when we find it in another. One who is awake will see, here's my Guru's advice. I find it here in this man. Somehow or other, it has come here. How? I do not know. But I see my Guru's characteristics, his dealings, and behavior in this person. When we are able to recognize a thing for its intrinsic value, then wherever we find it, we cannot neglect it. There is an example of this in an instance regarding Aurobindo Ghosh of Pondicherry. He was the first leader of the anarchist party and practically the founder of the revolutionary movement in Bengal. In 1928, a case against him was proceeding in Calcutta High Court. A famous attorney, Mr. Norton, was in charge of the prosecution. Aurobindo had absconded, and when the case was going on, he was not to be found anywhere. Norton was concerned how to find him. Aurobindo's English was very good English. He had been educated in England from childhood and could speak English even better than many Englishmen. Norton began to search through different papers and magazines for Aurobindo's writing. Finally, he found Aurobindo's style of writing in the Amrita Bashar Patrika, a Bengali newspaper. Here's Mr. Ghosh, he said. The editor of the Amrita Bashar Patrika was summoned to court to find out whether Aurobindo's Ghosh had written the article. Norton examined him. This is your paper. You must know who has written this article. You're the editor. Yes, I know. Do you know this man, Aurobindo Ghosh? Yes, I know him. I consider him to be one of the greatest men in the world. As the editor of this new paper, do you know who wrote this article? Yes, I know. Has Mr. Ghosh written this article? I won't say. Norton asked him, do you know what is the punishment? Yes, 6 months imprisonment. You're ready for that? Yes, I am ready for that. Holding up the newspaper article, Norton said, here's Mr. Ghosh. I rest my case. He saw out a window in his writing, and in a similar way, we must see, here is my Gurudev. Our spiritual master will also sometimes say of one of his disciples who had departed, Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to me, but I could not recognize him. Those whose divine vision is awakened are always seeing signs of divinity everywhere. One Krishna in many gurus. Oops, one moment. Dandavat, Bhima Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna. One Krishna in many gurus. We must have the vision to recognize the presence of our guru's temperament. Mahaprabhu says, Madhavendra Purira Sambandha Dara Jani. When Mahaprabhu met the Sanodiya Brahmana, upon seeing his movements, he at once detected that this Brahmana must have some connection with Madhavendra Puri. He said, without his connection, I could never find such symptoms of transcendental ecstasy. It must come from Madhavendra Puri. So we must know Krishna consciousness in truth. It is said that Acharya Mam Bijaniyam. The spiritual master is not to be differentiated. One thing is coming down from the Supreme Lord, so the oneness of continuity is not to be ignored. Guru can be here, Guru can be in another body also. The same teacher may come in a different body to inspire us. He may come to give us new hope and higher education. The substance should always be given a higher value than the form. First, understand the degree of purity in Krishna consciousness. The followers of form are only imitationists. They want only to exploit Mahaprabhu and not to serve him. They are our worst enemies. They are traitors. They have taken the garb of Mahaprabhu Sampradaya and they are saying something bogus. This is cheap marketing. They are extensively selling adulterated things very cheaply. They have no inner necessity to attain the purest thing. Pujjala Ragapatha Gauravabanje. Although he was such an exalted Vaishnava, our Guru Maharaj never presented himself as a great devotee. He always used to say, I am a servant of the Vaishnavas. That was his claim. And he will say, the higher devotees are my Guru. They are so exalted. First come and practice all these things, and then you can hope to reach the goal. It is not so easy or so cheap. Out of many liberated persons, a pure devotee of Lord Krishna is extremely rare. Koti mukta mati durlabhaika Krishna Vakta. And then let's go read this image. This is Srila Jaya, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Sitting, and the legend says, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur always used to say, I'm a servant of the Vaishnavas. Krishna consciousness is an internal thing, and those who cannot see the internal truth will make much of the external cover. We do not support that. Rather, we're interested in the real spirit. All the opposing elements who are interested in the external cannot touch us. Dogs may bark, but the barking of a dog has no importance. Because they make so much of the outer thing, they have no real purification of the heart to accept the pure thing, to discriminate what is purity or what is love of Godhead, prema, after which even Brahma and Mahadeva aspire. Jai, Srila Guru Maharaj ki Jai. We have finished reading the chapter Descendant. Descent of Revealed Truth. So what do you say, Didi? Should we read another chapter? Maybe we can read one more chapter, right? Okay. Bimar Prabhu, we're going to read another chapter. Okay. The last chapter felt so strong, like the words of Srila Guru Maharaj felt cutting, like a sword of truth cutting lies. Jai. The original Guru. The original spiritual master is Nityananda Prabhu. He is the general representation of Guru. In the spiritual world, he is the Guru Tattva principle in the four primary mellows of devotion, excluding the conjugal mellow. In Madhurya Rasa, Baladeva's representation is Ananga Manjari, the sister of Radharani. The position of Nityananda is greater than that of Baladev. Why? He is distributing prema, divine love. And what is prema? It is higher than all other achievements. If one can give divine love, then all others must subordinate to him. If Krishna is subordinate to Mahaprabhu, then, of course, Balaram is subordinate to Nityananda. They are similar, but when magnanimity is added, Balaram becomes Nityananda. That Balaram who can distribute divine love, who can perform that higher function, has come here as Nityananda. Our foundation must be solid and proper, and then the structure should be erected. Otherwise, the whole thing will go down. Henno nitai bine by Radha Krishna paitenai. We can get a solid foundation from Nityananda Prabhu. Srila Nityananda Prabhu, the original spiritual master and general representation of Guru. One day, Nityananda Prabhu came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's house in Mayapur. Mahaprabhu's mother, Sachi Devi, and Vishnupriya Devi, his wife, were also there, as well as other devotees. Suddenly, Nityananda arrived, quite naked. Mahaprabhu managed to give him some cloth, and perhaps he was concerned that the devotees might have some misconception about Nityananda Prabhu. So, to prevent this, he asked Nityananda Prabhu for his kaupina, his loincloth. He tore it up and distributed it amongst the householders that were present, instructing them, keep a piece of his loincloth as a kavacha, an amulet, and tie that with a thread to your arm, or wear it around your neck. Please keep it with you. Then you will be able to achieve sense control very soon. Nityananda Prabhu has control of his senses to the extreme degree. He does not know anything of this world. His vairagya, indifference to the world of mundane transaction, is of such a degree that he can appear naked amongst both male and female. So, the grace of Nityananda Prabhu will construct a firm foundation for us. If there is a firm foundation, then we may build a great structure over it. If we have faith in Nityananda, then that faith can bear any amount of weight. It won't betray us. So, Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada has laid a stress amongst the Westerners on devotion to Nityananda. First, we must get his mercy, and then, afterwards, we can get the mercy of Radha Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu means Radha Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahi Anya. First, achieve the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, and then Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and then Sri Radha Govinda. In these 3 stages, we must raise ourselves up. So, first achieve the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu, and then Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and then Sri Radha Govinda. Devotee, how does one attain the mercy of Lord Nityananda? Srila Sridhar Maharaj, one who finds more inclination to serve Gauranga and his dham, his transcendental land, and his servants can get the mercy of Nityananda Prabhu. Nityananda is very much kind to one who has some special tendency towards Gaura Lila. Take the name of Gauranga. Nityananda Prabhu walked from door to door in Bengal, saying, take the name of Gauranga, I will become your servant, you can purchase me. If you only take the name of Gauranga, I will be sold to you without any price or condition. That was his temperament. When Mahaprabhu was in Puri, he sent Nityananda Prabhu to Bengal. At that time he said, without you, I don't find anyone who can spread the holy name of Krishna or devotional service to Krishna in Bengal. They are more engaged in the tantric method and smriti. They make too much of these trifling things. They are puffed up, thinking that they have finished all knowledge. So, Bengal is a very hard field for preaching. Without you, no one will be able to awaken the masses. Separate yourself from the higher castes and approach the masses with the holy name of Krishna. You're the fittest person for this work. Those were the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Nityananda Prabhu to go to preach to those wild people of Bengal. Nityananda Prabhu went to Bengal, but without trying to preach the glories of the holy name of Krishna. Nityananda began to preach the name of Gauranga. Nityananda Prabhu found that there is some danger of thinking that Krishna's pastimes are very much akin to the mundane debauchery, lying and stealing of a degraded soul. Krishna's pastimes are of a highly confidential nature. It is very difficult for the masses to understand the purity of Krishna Lila. The mass mind cannot accept Krishna Lila as the highest attainment. So, Nityananda Prabhu found it would be difficult to preach Krishna Lila, but he found it would be very easy to preach Gaura Lila, where Krishna has come to distribute himself to the public with so much capital in his mind. Gauranga means a dynamo which wants to distribute Krishna, surcharged with the most magnanimous, intensified pity and kindness for the ordinary people, with the greatest affection even for the criminals. Nityananda Prabhu wanted to bring them in connection with Gauranga, for then Krishna Lila would automatically be within their fist. So he began to preach about Gauranga, not Radha Krishna, as commanded by Mahaprabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu says, Bhaja Gauranga Kaha Gauranga Laha Gauranga Nama. Worship Gauranga, speak only of Gauranga, and chant the name of Gauranga. There is another instance of the relationship between Krishna and Balaram and Gauranga and Nityananda, which is described in the Chaitanya Bhagavata. Sachi Devi had a dream that Krishna and Balaram were sitting on a throne, and Nityananda was fighting with Balaram. Come down from the throne. It is no longer Dwapara Yuga. The age of Kali has come, and my master Gauranga must occupy your position on this throne. You, come down. Balaram began giving some opposition. No, why should we come down? We have been sitting on this throne for such a long time. Nityananda Prabhu began forcibly taking him down, and Balaram submitted slightly. Nityananda Prabhu said, my master Gauranga wants to take the position now. The age for him has come. So, Nityananda is very partial to Gauranga. He says, Krishna is far off. My Lord is Gauranga. So, we must be very grateful to Nityananda Prabhu, for he is our Guru. And Guru's grace is so important that Raghunatha Das Goswami says, O Radharani, I want your grace. Without you, I don't want Krishna separately. I never want Krishna without you. That should be the healthy attitude of a devotee. This has been explained by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in his Kurvashtaka. Yasa prasadat bhagavad prasado, yasa prasadat nagati kutopi. Dvayam stuvam stasya ya shastri santhyam. Bande Guru Shri Charanaravindam. I bow down to the lotus feet of Sri Gurudev. By his grace, we achieve the grace of Krishna. Without his grace, we are lost. Therefore, we should always meditate on Sri Gurudev and pray for his mercy. This is the position of Sri Guru, by whose grace we can get everything. We can get the grace of Krishna, and without whose grace we have no other prospect. So, in this way, we must have reverence for He who has given us our first connection with Krishna consciousness. Guru is not a doll. But at the same time, we offer reverence to Gurudev. We must not conceive that the Guru is a doll, a lifeless figure, because we are familiar with a particular figure and accept that as our Guru, we should not become misled. The important thing is what he says, his instructions. That is attracting our inner hearts. I am not this body. I am the inquirer. That thing which is satisfying me. drawing the inquirer to the inquired, I must try to locate that thing in him. I must not rely on material calculation. I am not this body. Who am I? The disciple? Am I only this body, this figure, this color, this caste? Or I am this temperament, this scholarship, and intellectualism? No. I am he who has come to seek, who is the party within me, and who is the party in Guru. We must be fully awake to that. What is the inner thing? I have come for that. We must be awake to our own interest. There is the relative principle and the absolute principle. We shall have to eliminate the form, ignore the form. We shall always have to keep the spirit. Otherwise, we become form worshippers, idol worshippers. Guru, more than meets the eye. It is said, of course, that the connection with the spiritual master is eternal. Chakshudhana dilo jay janme janme Prabhu say. But we must not identify our Guru with the appearance we perceive with our physical senses. Our inner identification of him will be clarified according to the growth of our vision. When our vision increases and takes shape from material to transcendental, his look will also change accordingly. A man is sometimes known most externally by his uniform, and then by his body, then by his mind, then by his intelligence. As much as our eye will develop to see things rightly, what we are seeing will also change its face. Krishna says, Acharya mam vijanijan. Ultimately, it is I who am the Acharya. It is the function of divinity, and in different stages, there may be different forms. Different Acharyas may work at the same time. The knowledge, the ideal, is growing from subtle to gross, and the depth of the vision of the eye will disclose the different figures of the different acharyas. It will go in different rasas to the highest position by a gradual process of realization. Otherwise, our knowledge will be based on the material conception, and to force the material conception onto divinity is a crime. It is ignorance. It is erroneous. You have to free yourself from the snare of identifying reality with the physical form presented to our senses. The eyes deceive us. They cannot give us proper form or color. The ears cannot give us the proper sound. The concrete reality is beyond the experience of our senses. So then, what is that thing? Because we're in such a low position, we can gradually go there to the inner world only with the help of our Guru. But how can we recognize our Guru? Sometimes in the winter he wears a particular dress, and in the summer he wears another dress. If we attach so importance to the external dress, then what should we do? Should we think that the dress is indispensable to the body? The Guru may come to us in a particular body. Suppose the Guru appears as a young man. When he has become an old man, and the young form has grown into another form, how are we to recognize him? How are we to differentiate? Again, in one birth he may have come in a particular body, and another time he may appear in a different body. The same Guru may appear differently at different times. How are we to recognize him? From the external consideration, we must go to the internal. If I am devoid of flesh and blood, and I exist only in a subtle body, then I shall also find my Guru there, in a subtle body. The demigods, Gandharvas, and Siddhas, the perfected beings in the heavenly planets, also have their gurus, but they do not have a material body, nor does their guru have a material body. So, by eliminating the external conception, we have to enter into the internal, and that will be all important to a progressive disciple. That does not mean that one should disregard the physical form of our guru, but the real importance is within. We must worship the remnants of the guru, his coat, his boot, his sandal, but that does not mean that his shoe is superior to his body. We must serve his person. In a similar way, if we are eager to do some physical service for him, if we want to massage his feet, but he does not desire that and says no, 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 then should we do that? Our eternal obedience to him will be higher. In this way, we have to make progress from the gross to the subtle. Who is Guru? Where is he to be located? What is his ideal? What does he really want me to do? These things must not be dismissed from our ears. We must not give any formal adherence. We want the spiritual way. The spiritual man is going to the spiritual world to have the spiritual realization. It is all a spiritual transaction. And all conceptions of mundane, whether physical, mental, or intellectual, should be eliminated in our journey if we want to go to the inner world of substance. Progress, elimination, and acceptance. Progress, elimination, and acceptance. This attitude will decide our real progress, our real design of life. Our fulfillment comes always from the inner side. If one can catch up that thread, then he can go and get things of that higher spiritual quality. We may appreciate the beautiful figure, style, movement, and intellectual delivery of the spiritual master, and so many other things may be appreciable. But what should be the highest focal point of our realization? What should be our highest aim for which we will eliminate everything else? Progress means elimination and acceptance. And our spiritual life must always be a dynamic thing. Otherwise, we shall be dead. Progress means acceptance and elimination. The scientists also say this in their theory of natural selection, survival of the fittest. Nature is selecting some and eliminating others. Life is dynamic. We are living in a dynamic world. Everywhere we find acceptance and elimination. That is progress. And our life must be progressive, not static. To get the grace of Nityananda Prabhu, we should try it as far as possible to study the character of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, to serve him, to serve his Dham and his devotees. That will easily help us attain the grade of Nityananda Prabhu. And there will always be so many practical dealings in our present stage, but we must always keep the highest ideal over our heads. With this ideal, we shall be able to make progress. Our ideal, our highest model. That is our all in life. To be acquainted with the conception of the highest ideal and to be on the path of realization of that goal is the greatest wealth in one's life. Jaya Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Raghunath Das Goswami Press. I only aspire after one thing. I cherish the hope that one day I might be welcomed into the plane where Radhika and Madhava are in their glory, sitting and playing. That should be your prospect. This is found in Raghunatha Dasa Goswami prayer to his Guru. He says, Namashistam manumapi shachiputra matras varupam Rupam tasyagrajam urupurim maturim gostavatim Radha kundam girivaram aho radhika madhavashayam Radhika madhavasham Prapto yasya pratita vakiripaya Shri Gurum tam natosmi. I am fully in debt to Shri Gurudev. Why? He has given me so many things. He has given me the highest conception of the holy name of Krishna, the highest form of sound, which contains the highest form of thought, aspiration, ideal, everything. And next, he has given me the mantra. The name is there within the mantra. Without the name, the mantra is nothing. If the name of Krishna is withdrawn and replaced with another name, the mantra will give the opposite result. The name of Krishna is all in all, and within the mantra, the name is couched in a particular way as a sort of prayer. And then he says, He has given me the service of the great Savior, the son of Mother Sachi, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is like a golden mountain standing to show the direction of Krishna Lila. And Gurudeva has brought me to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu's most favorite personal assistant, is Varupa Damodar, who is a representation of Lalita Devi, the most favorite friend of Radhika. Then he has brought me in connection with Sri Rupa, who was ordered to distribute the highest kinds of devotional love, rasa, Vaidhi Bhakti. The worship of the Lord in awe and reverence is of a lower order, but Raganuga Bhakti, a spontaneous love, the heart's innermost dealings, was distributed through Srila Rupa Goswami. Mahaprabhu considered Sri Rupa the best to deal with Raganuga Bhakti. Dasa Goswami says, Then, by his grace, I have achieved the association of Srila Sanatana Goswami, who adjusts our position in relation to Raganuga Bhakti. He explains the path of Vaidhi Bhakti and gives us Sambandha Gyan, the knowledge of what is what, a proper acquaintance with the environment. Then he says, Gurudev has given me Mathura Mandala, where Radha and Govinda have their pastimes, where the forest, the hills, every creeper, shrub, and grain of sand, everyone is bearing the acquaintance of Radha Krishna Lila. And wherever I shall cast my glance, they will help me in my remembrance of Radha and Govinda. I have received all these things from my Gurudev, Vrindavan, where the cows and the milkmen have their village constructed. I am becoming acquainted with their association. Dandavat. I am becoming acquainted with their association, their nature, and their feelings of love for Krishna. By the grace of Gurudev, I have become acquainted with Radha Kunda, the favorite place of Radha and Govinda for their pastimes, and this great Govardhan. And lastly, he has given me the hope that one day I can get the service of Shri Radhika and Madhava. I have been given all these assurances by my Gurudev. So I bow my head with all my respects to his lotus feet. So, if we are conscious of all these spiritual matters, then we can think that we have approached our Gurudeva properly. What is our Guru? What is his mission? It is filled with all these things. Devoid of that, what is our interest? What is ISKCON? Devotee. There are so many visions about the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. But what should the real vision of ISKCON be? Srila Guru Maharaj. In this verse, Raghunatha Dasa Goswami gives the real acquaintance of what is ISKCON. Namashristam manum api sachiputra matrashvarupam. ISKCON must not deviate from this line. We have not come here to deceive ourselves, but to fulfill ourselves. ISKCON will fulfill everyone's inner demand, even extending to the vegetables and stones, taking them to the feet of Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis. From village to village, everyone in every place should be hunted and approached. Take the name of Krishna, come under the flag of Mahaprabhu. This grand worldwide mission will thrive like anything. It will touch the heavens and cover the earth and other planets also. That was the aim of Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and we understand and appreciate that. Finito. We'll continue reading the next chapter, God consciousness versus society consciousness. Jaya, thank you, dear devotees, for your Shravanam service. Thank you for doing seva with me. And we'll chant Hari Haraya and we'll finish today's readings. Hello. Yeah. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha. Gopal Govinda Ram Srimad Sudana. Gidari Gopinath Madana Mohana. Garupas Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra. Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Rupa Sanatana Bhattarya Gunata. Shri Shiva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath. Jaya Mishpa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Mishpa Srila Bhakti Rakshak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj ki Jai. Jai Bhagavan Om Vishpa Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki Jai. Jai Shri Rupanuga Guru Varga ki Jai. Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Nantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Baladeva Srila Vidya Bhushana ki Jai. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shapasha Sinitananda Prabhu ki Jai. Jai Shapasha Sriman Mahaprabhu ki Jai. Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinasha Makunda Radha Kunda Giri Gaurda ki Jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Acharya Vrinda ki jai. Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat. Mad Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai. Srila Exi Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Kolkartos ki jai. Harinam Sankirtan ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Ma ki jai. Shri Chaitanya SCSMission ki jai. All the assembled and unassembled devotees ki jai. Nitaguru Premanande. Haribo. Bhima Krishna Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Shakti Didi ki jai.
Jai.
Not yet.
Oh. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Jai devotee serving Mahaprabhu ki jai. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you for tuning in, devotees. See you tomorrow.